All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for tuning in. My name is Dave. This is Save America, Vote Tulsi Gabbard. Um, the daunting task that is ahead for Tulsi Gabbard, based on it's look. Here's the thing. Nobody's really talking about Tulsi Gabbard. Just very few people are talking about Tulsi Gabbard. You turn on the news; they're talking about Pete Buttigieg today. Pete Buttigieg. He is the new media endorsed candidate. MSNBC did this odd thing where they compared Buttigieg to Tiger Woods the day that Tiger won the Masters. I have no idea what that has to do with anything. The price of tea in China, as my parents used to always say. No idea. What? How is that even somebody? And I think it was probably Laura Ingraham where I saw this because I watch a lot of stuff. So it doesn't mean I'm endorsing everything that they're saying, but I watch a lot of clips. And I think she had posted a clip where Obama was speaking and then Pete Buttigieg was speaking, and the words were almost identical. I mean, all the hopey changey stuff, all of the lofty language. Are we gonna go down the same road over and over again? Look, the Republicans, they elect guys with low intellect, a lot, and I didn't want to admit that to myself, but they do. The Democrats elect people with higher intellect, but they play a game and they're really good at sort of this language of hyperbole. They don't elect somebody that has a real sincere connection to the people that they represent, like Tulsi Gabbard. My point is, nobody's talking about Tulsi Gabbard. They're talking about everything but. Good for Bernie and the town hall. I talked about that already. It was a good town hall. I'm still getting, people are still like, oh, he shouldn't have ever went on there. And somebody, I think it was Secular Talk, which I follow over on Twitter, said that if you get like 5% of those people, it's a huge victory, because are you expecting like the Fox News contingency to come over to Bernie Sanders? Now, some of them might, because honestly, the Trump-Sanders agenda isn't actually that far apart, at least on what Donald Trump campaigned on, not what he's doing now. I just looked at a poll or a survey of independent voters. Bernie, Tulsi, and Trump were their top three choices. I have a guy who commented on one of my videos. Well, Tulsi doesn't get through. It's Trump again. In 2020, it's Trump. Because, in other words, there's nothing else in the structure. Because then you think of third parties and trying to ramp up a candidate to get into the debates and to get on ballots and so forth. Almost an impossible system to crack. And what people should have done, rather than start this silly resistance it is like a movement, after the election, what they should have done is started a grassroots movement dedicated to those issues that people feel as though aren't being addressed. Rather than just the personal attacks on Donald Trump, how about issues? How about talking issues? How about looking at what Trump is doing, reporting on that, and then actually having some kind of conversation which eventually filters down to people who may have supported Trump? Because right now you can say, hey, Trump, he said no more foreign entanglements, no more useless wars. And we need to have real conversations about these issues rather than just Pete Buttigieg. And really, you want to run the same movie that we ran in 2008. And it's just earth shattering, mind boggling that we're going to go down that road again. Democrats do much better when it comes to people that look serious and talk a good game and who are genuinely articulate and intelligent. I will say this. But it's two sides of the same coin. If you read Listen Liberal, Frank Thomas, if you read some of that, you find out this guy, Buttigieg, he's the poster boy for the Democratic Party's strategy of courting, high-tech workers, wired workers, as they're called. That's their strategy. So if you're somewhere in, the Rust Belt, Pete Buttigieg is not your guy. It's either Bernie, Tulsi, and then Trump because of rhetoric, but not what Trump is doing. Although Trump is messing around with tariffs, and he just, you play this game and you got to know exactly what you're doing with it. And some economists say it's just making things worse. I don't know, but I'd love to see a real blue-collar president get back into the White House. And the best of all of them right now is either Tulsi or Bernie. But is Tulsi going to get anywhere? This is the thing that I'm starting to come to grips with. I was so enthusiastic when I started this channel. And I haven't been doing it all that long. But you can kind of read the tea leaves every day. You look at Twitter. You look at what people are talking about. Yes, my channel is doing well. But there are a lot of other things where I look at it and I go, why isn't Tulsi being talked about here? Somebody was talking about Pete Buttigieg, that he has 7 months under his belt as far as military service in the Navy, I believe. Tulsi Gabbard is still in the armed services. And I think at least, 2 tours in Iraq? And she's seen the worst of war. And it's influenced and informed her positions in such a way that how can you sit there and think to yourself, well, this anti-war stuff is just... I bet you Pete Buttigieg doesn't like some of the wars that we're in. I think he'd do it differently, or he'd have a different strategy. And, all the people over on MSNBC probably love this guy because he's another corporatist. He's going to prop up Wall Street. He's going to talk, a good populist game on the campaign trail. But there's no evidence in the guy's, on his resume that he's going to be good on any of these issues. At least I know Bernie Sanders has been doing this stuff since he was mayor of Burlington, And I with Tulsi, though, it's just, here's this perfect candidate. She could break the glass ceiling, because a lot of people, that means a lot to people, okay? One of the youngest presidents, if not the youngest, if she got elected. That, to me, those two things right there, the fact that she has all of this public service and military service behind her, again, she's articulate. I mean, I've said this in other videos. I'm just dumbfounded that Americans, they don't want that. They want, clumsy guy who can barely get through a sentence and who's being teleprompted to death. A guy who said he didn't like teleprompters, and now he's hanging on every word because he doesn't really have an original thought. He doesn't. I knew this when I voted for him. I just wanted him to go in there and wreck the system. And instead, the system absorbed him because I don't know. That's why I'm just like, what are we doing? And is it just too late? Is it just too late to save this? It's like my views on climate change. I mean, you're going to get the entire globe to stop driving cars or to switch from fossil to renewable. You're going to get the entire globe to do that. I mean, it would take you, they say you only have 12 years left. It would take you at least 12 years to get people to do this, to consider doing it, maybe. I mean, nothing moves fast. That kind of change is not going to happen overnight. I mean, you'd have to have nuclear winter for people to, change their ways, and at that point it wouldn't do any good because we'd all be dead. In trying to get people to, in the mainstream media, to look at Tulsi Gabbard as like this rock star politician, because she doesn't want that, but she has those types of credentials. And it's frustrating because I sit here and I go, well, what is she doing wrong? Is she not flamboyant enough? Is it the fact that she doesn't soundbite well? She did make the debate stage thanks to independent media, and pushing her onto the debate stage is excellent, because if people see and hear her, maybe they'll drop their corporatist candidates. Maybe we'll stop hearing about Pete Buttigieg. I mean, why him? I mean, I just like they pick somebody who they think is young and attractive, or can channel the JFK energy. I noticed that they've kind of let go of Beto, because I think they know Beto is a train wreck as far as substance. He has none. Buttigieg doesn't have that much more substance than Beto has, so I'm not sure what it is about Buttigieg that's better than Beto. All I know is I'm really concerned, and it's early, but I'm really concerned that this is over before it begins. And I'm hoping I'm wrong, and I will stay the course, and I will keep making videos, and I will keep telling people that I know about Tulsi Gabbard, because I just don't think we can afford the warfare machine for much longer. I just don't. And people who just ignore it, I mean, you can listen to any talk show right now, and all they talk about are these surface issues, and they never drill down and get to the heart of what is driving this economy into the ditch. It's like we're all working with elephants on our backs. And I know for some people, the economy is great. It's great, I know. For other people, it's still day to day, week to week, paycheck to paycheck. And even if you get ahead a little bit, most people don't have enough savings to cover a small emergency. So I think our country has to do something different. We can't just go from neo-lib to neocon back to neo-lib. We can't have a guy like Trump, who promised to be a populist, get taken over, which he has been. He's been completely co-opted by the deep state. And I think, my theory is, and I know he's not the smartest guy, but I do think he had convictions when he got there. I think those convictions are gone. I think what he wants to do is sit back, put the presidency on autopilot, have these people who, this is why he ran his business too. I mean, his daughter and his sons were doing all the work Trump was running around just being a PR guy. I mean, his family did all the work, and now you're getting Mike Pompeo and John Bolton. Just what? It's not what I voted for. And Tulsi is a hope. She's a hope, but I'm just thinking the system is just absorbing everybody who gets into it. So that's my video. Is it over before it begins? I hope not, but it seems like it. See you soon.